Campers. It is Sunday the 12th of March 2023 and we are here again to answer your questions about camper conversions, YouTube, Coombe Valley Campus itself, any events, or whatever's going on with you. We normally have a good few people on the chat who are regulars, a lot of people who come in just to ask questions. We normally are here for 1 hour. It's now 8 p.m. We go till 9 p.m. every Sunday, and it's just a really nice place just to sort of chill, hang out, and answer your questions. So if this is your first time watching, my name's Leigh, and this is the Coombe Valley Campers Live, and very much welcome to you this evening. I'm in a slightly different location today. I am in my bedroom because there's lots going on in the household today, so I thought I'd come here, have a nice chilled out time, and just have a quick chat with you guys. So what's new? If everybody's seen what's going on online in terms of the VW world, we have had Nanove going on this weekend. That's always a really, really good Volkswagen weekend. Lots of air-cooled cars from the UK heading over to Europe and having a really, really good time down there. What's been going on with us? Well, we've had quite the week, actually. We recorded another episode of the 2KT5. That was really exciting. If you watch our social media over on Instagram or Facebook, you might see what we've done and what's going on. So yeah, really, really exciting. But first of all, we've got a couple of people in. We've got David Bailey. He says, hi, everyone. We've got MGB311. He says, evening all. Good evening, fellas. Oh, what a week. Oh, it's been such a week. We've had so much work on. We've done lots of filming. I'm trying to think what else we've done. Yes, the 2KT5. We've just uploaded the latest video on the 2KT5, which was sound deadening in the cab. If you have watched it, give us a bit of a thumbs up. Let us know what you think of the video. It's quite good. We're actually getting onto the conversion side of things now, right? We're actually doing conversion stuff. So yeah, very, very happy with getting the thing completely clean and actually starting to do constructive work on the vehicle. The latest video is very, very constructive in terms of the sound deadening. And yeah, it's really, really good stuff that's gone down in there. Right, we've got a couple of people further in. We've got Mint Sauce. He says, hello, good evening. Simon Massey says, evening, Leigh. Gary Plumley says, hello, hello. How are we all doing, chaps? So what's everybody been up to this week? Has everyone been busy working? Been busy scouring the news because there's lots going on? Oh, James. James has said, evening, Leigh, you've interrupted my missus watching Crufts. Crufts is still a thing, is it? Crikey. I haven't watched anything like that for a long time. Danny Sight says, good evening, Leigh. Hope you and the family are well. The family are very well. Oh, actually, got some sad news this week. Those who have been watching either the channel for a long time or maybe have watched our lives in the last few weeks, you remember little Bronte. Bronte is my mum's dog. She was a 14-year-old Patterdale, and very sadly, she passed this week. She was very ill. She went downhill very, very quickly. So yes, we are -1 dog now, which is very, very sad. But we still have our Ron. That's my dog, or our dog as a family. But yeah, very, very sad to say goodbye to young Bronte this week. So yeah, been quite an emotional week in the family. But yes, we do move onwards and up. Sad thing, we've got our Ronnie here. He's just walked in, bless him. Hopefully he won't be making too much noise. So yes, what have people been up to this week? We have had, like I say, a very, very busy one, doing lots of filming, doing lots of work. Stu MCP says, good evening, my man. Jonathan, what's the surname? Tillotson says, hi, thanks for the delivery of the stretch carpet. Should open it, but been mega busy. Yeah, I know the way you're feeling, my man. I know the way you're feeling. So yes, put your hands up. Who has watched the latest 2KT5 video, and what are your thoughts on it? We've had some good feedback so far, some good constructive feedback. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Come on, we got 35 people on today. You're quite quiet in the comments. It's always nice to have a chat. Scotty78 has just given us a wave. Good evening. He's given us a red wave. Thank you very, very, very much. Mint Sauce has given us a little hand up as well, saying yes. Does that mean you've watched it? That is awesome. Gary Plumley says, haven't been out in the van as the dual mass flywheel has exploded. Oh my gosh, I am extremely sorry to hear that. After chatting with a friend of mine, and he drove my van over, when was it, this week? Yes. And he says, so Leigh, when are we doing the clutch on your T5? It was quite high, and it has got a bit of a low spot. So yeah, that does need replacing at some stage. Mint sauce. Oh, hang on. Dylan Evans is in. He says, hi, just got myself a T6 combi this weekend, already bought Rusty Lee swivels, and then it's on to sound deadening, etc. Awesome stuff, man. Well, you know where to go. We have lots of sound deadening products on the website, including all bundles and things like that. And if you need a hand, be sure to ask down below. Mint sauce has just finished sound deadening and insulating our cab. Nice work. Sadly, the video probably came out a little bit too late, unless you've done it in the last 2 hours, which would be an awesome feat if you have. Danny Sykes says, my leisure battery is charging at 14.3 volts when the engine is running, but I've looked and cannot see a split charge relay fitted anywhere. Interesting. It would be worth, it says, could this just be charging with a wide connection straight to the main battery? Is this safe? Is this safe if so? I would highly recommend that you do a split charge system, because yes, technically the battery will charge from your alternator, and a split charge is not necessary in that case. Charging, yes, split charge is not necessarily to effectively charge a second battery. However, what that would mean is not only would you be charging the battery all the time and using the leisure battery all the time, sorry, not only would you be charging the leisure battery all the time and the vehicle battery, but you would be using both batteries at the same time. The reason we have a relay in between the two batteries is to connect and disconnect the battery when the vehicle is charging. So normally when you're at standstill, for example, your split charge relay is open, because your split charge relay is just a switch. Say this is your leisure battery side, this is your vehicle battery side. When your engine starts, the relay senses when your vehicle battery is charged to 13.7 volts, then it closes. The charge passes through that relay onto your leisure battery, thus charging your leisure battery. When the engine is turned off, the voltage in the vehicle battery drops, the relay senses this, opens, and then there's no discharge or charge either way. So that's why it is necessary to put a split charge relay or even a DC to DC charger. Hope that helps. James has said, watched. Good stuff, my man. Or Stu MCP says, ordered sound deadening, insulation and carpet, but forgot an extra roll of duo for the high top roof. Duo you won't need for the high top roof. I would recommend you put, depending on what the high top roof is made of, Stu, what I would recommend normally is just a roll of the Van Liner or the Van Liner Pro. So be it 5mm or 8mm or 10mm, whatever you wish, to just line the fiberglass. If it's made of fiberglass, and then if there's paneling between the fiberglass skin and say some wood paneling maybe, then you can fill that void with some of the thermofleece insulation. If not, then you could effectively carpet over the Van Liner Pro. Where are we next? Where are we next? Where are we next? David Bailey says, halfway through watching the soundproofing video. Good stuff. Thank you very much, David Bailey. MGB311 says, hi Leigh, was there any mechanical work needed on the 2KT5? You might have mentioned it in a previous video. Yes. So what we've done, we've not really concentrated on the mechanical side of things, be it engine and drivetrain, purely because there's a million videos out there on that. We want to concentrate on the actual van conversion side of it, really. Plus, mechanical work is sometimes difficult to film and commentate at the same time. It takes a very long time in the workshop to film and commentate at the same time. So if we do mechanical, we would film it just as B-roll and then voice over it. But generally, the mechanical work is being done off camera. So to get it through an MOT, we had to put a set of wheels and tyres on it, because all the wheels and tyres it came with were rubbish. They were terrible, and I think you've seen it on the first video. So I just used wheels and tyres on Facebook Marketplace for like £100. We replaced all of them to get it through the MOT. Mechanical wise, what else did it need? Brakes were good. We fully serviced the engine, and we had to do front control arms for the MOT. But since then, we've had to do rear control bushes as well, rear trailing arm bushes as well. And that's about it, really. It hasn't needed a lot mechanically, although we are finding. Oh, the big thing was it was kind of on a what do they call it? Limp mode. The turbo wasn't spooling up and we weren't getting any turbo. We plugged it in. Turns out there was a MAF sensor fault and we were having trouble finding the fault with the MAF sensor because we were testing them. They were all fine. And the one final sensor that we did check was the one that's kind of hidden on the 19TD. It's kind of hidden under the coolant bottle. We moved the coolant bottle out of the way, noticed that one wire to the MAF sensor had actually broken. So we spliced that back together, connected it back up, cleared all the faults, and is driving beautifully again. So yeah, that's what was going on. Well, that's the mechanical work we've done so far. Oh, and we've put a windscreen in it too. Where are we? Where are we? Let's have a look through the comments. So when I do this, it's me scrolling through the comments so I can see what you've all written. Scotty78, he says, not sure if you can help. I have use of a T6.1 and it makes a slight whining noise in first and second gear. Any ideas on what this could be? I'm no gearbox expert, so maybe somebody in the comments who knows a bit more about gearboxes might know a bit more. That could be a bearing, could be a throwout bearing. Difficult one, first and second gear. I can't answer that. However, if you do have more specific questions you want us to answer and I don't have the answer with you right now, or I can't get the answer to you right now, please be sure to email us at info@coomvalleycampers.co.uk and I will very happily answer your question in detail for you. Taxi driver, Mad Mossy, he says, good evening, Leigh and all from Mad Mossy in the city of Bath. Richard Sykes, he says, hi Leigh, loving the new 252K 2K T5 series as I've just bought my first ever T5 and I'm looking forward to some great advice, tips and tricks. Well, you're very welcome, Richard Sykes. We love the project as well. It's a really, really good one. Question, should I cut a pop-top roof into my fully restored T25 Synchro to sell it, or should I leave it as a tin top, Leigh? In my honest opinion, I'm a VW guy, I'm a T25 type guy. Adding a pop-top to a van, especially like a T25, won't necessarily add value to it, especially to a Synchro. Synchros are pretty big ticket still, and always will be, I guess. I don't think it would help to sell the vehicle. Synchros sell no matter what. It could be a lot of expense for not a lot of return. With things like pop-tops on vans, unless it's like a T5, T6, or you are aiming to sell it to a family, you don't get much of a return. It's not like putting an extension on your house, you know, it'll add value to the house. A pop top on a T25 won't necessarily add value, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't see it as adding any value or helping you make a sale. But let us know your choice there. And that's from LN. Sorry, I didn't make that clear before. So this is a comment from me and my van and my dog and my bike. Says, evening all, evening Leigh, from another Leigh. Should I remove my leisure battery and use a power station instead? Very good question. We have had lots of chit chats about this in the workshop, and then we're wondering about which way we should go when it comes to powering the 2K T5 conversion. I think there's a lot to be said about these power stations, and we have seen a conversion just using a power station instead of a regular leisure battery. Yes, they do work. Yes, they're very versatile. You can unplug them and charge them in your house. You can bolt on solar panels to them, or at least connect solar panels to them. I would say there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a very, very good option. I've seen it done. I've seen the power station be plugged into the split charge system, so it charges when you're driving, but it's also plugged into the solar panel as well that's on the vehicle, and it gives you 240 volt instantly without running any inverters. So it's a very, very, very good option for sure. Chatlow says, hi Leigh, any experience with Vitrifico fridges? We are looking at the C42L because it's quite shallow and will fit our units better. Thanks for the helpful vids. Yes, we've used Vitrifico. I can say things right. It is a Sunday evening, so my apologies if I get any spellings or pronunciations wrong. Any experience with Vitrifico fridges? Yes, we have fitted a few of them. We've had absolutely no problems with them, and it's a very good alternative to the regular fridges such as Waco. Simon Massey says, not much work happening on my T5 the last few weeks. Currently in the downward cycle of ignoring all the problems jobs. Your 2K T5 videos are helping to remotivate though. I get it. I totally get it. If you are having problems motivating yourself, when it comes to your camper van conversions or your project, have a look at an article that Andy Gregory from Heritage has just written. It's on the Heritage website. Look for their blog section. It's a very, very good little post with regards to continuing or incentivizing yourself on your project car or your project van. We had a little snippet in there. I can't quite remember what comment we made, but there's a little insert from us at the workshop in there too. So check it out. In fact, if I'm trying to think, Dom, would you be able to potentially find that link and maybe leave it in the comments? To the blog that Andy Gregory did on the Heritage site about being incentivized. Do you remember we did it? Yeah, super. Okay, so Dom is going to give it a go. And if we can find the link, we'll leave it in the comments for you. Stu MCP said, thanks, we'll add that Liner Pro later. Good job. Phil Potter says, do you know if they do updated lights for an 09 Vivaro? I'm not entirely sure. I tell you what I would do after answering this, or to answer this question. Personally, I would go straight onto Google to see if there is an update. Maybe they do a facelift for the Vivaro, because I know, for example, the T5 has had updates and things like that. Maybe there is an updated headlight on a facelift version for the Vivaro. If not, it's worth looking at things like Osram night breaker bulbs. Are you doing it actually, Phil Potter? Are you doing it for looks, or are you doing it for the efficiency of the lights? Because I know upgrading your bulbs to something like an Osram night breaker or an equivalent is a very, very good option. And that's definitely one thing I need to do on the T5 as well. Lizzie Lander says, hi Leigh, I've just bought a T6 Combi. It has the squishy factory standard floor in it with brackets for the row of seats in the back, etc. We are going to take these seats out in our conversion. Our plan is to put thick ply on the top so we can then bolt in our furniture to those boards instead of... Oh, hang on. Our plan is to put thick ply on the top so we can then bolt our furniture to those boards instead of drilling through the bottom of the van. Firstly, how easy is it to remove the brackets on the floor that secured the seats? Secondly, so we need to sound and insulate the floor. Thank you. So in order to remove those brackets for combi seats, you do actually need to remove the fuel tank. Not a big deal. There's lots of videos online how to do it. We haven't personally done a video on how to do it as yet, but yes, there's lots of videos online. Look for things like diesel heater fitting videos, because to fit a diesel heater you need to remove the tank, or even there might be videos on how to remove the combi brackets. But yes, you need to remove all the plastic belly pans from underneath those seat brackets. Drop the fuel tank, which isn't a mad job. You just need 2 people to do it, or recommend 2 people to do it. And then it's just a case of winding out, I think they might be a 16 or 17 mil nut underneath those seat brackets, and then those brackets will come straight out. Keep all the bolts if you can, because those brackets do sell online, and if you're selling the combi seats as well, selling the brackets with them will get you more money. Simon Massey has a thumbs up as well. Awesome. So I think this is a bit of a record. I just spotted that there are 45 people currently watching, which is awesome. So thank you very much for tuning in. It's already 14 minutes in. I feel like I haven't even stopped for breath yet. So that's really, really good. So thank you everybody for contributing. Can I ask one thing whilst I take this couple of minutes to sort of take a breather? 42 of you watching, 11 likes on the video so far, which is awesome. However, if you get a second, or if you can find where the thumbs up thing is around the video, please be sure to give the video or the live video a little thumbs up. That really, really helps out with the channel, really, really helps out with the video. So if you've learned anything, or you're enjoying the content, or you think you're going to come back another day, leave a little thumbs up on the video. That would be absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for that. Right, here we go. Simon Massey has come back and he said, sounds obvious, but make sure you run the fuel down before dropping the tank. Makes the job a lot easier. That is wonderful. Yes, that's a very, very valid point. We have had lots of situations in the past where we've had a van come in for a diesel heater or removing combi seats or just in for a conversion, and they've decided to leave the tank full, which is quite heavy. Fortunately for us, we have lifts and we have transmission props and things like that, so it can be quite easy for us. But yes, it is easier to drop a tank with less fuel. Sorry, I'm getting really warm right now, so do excuse me whilst I take off my hoodie. Oh, there we go. Good. So what has everybody else been up to this weekend? Who's going to the Volkswagen show at the weekend? Who's got any events planned for this year? What shows are you going to? What events are you going to this year? Have you got your holidays booked as yet? What are you guys doing, or what are you building your van for? I love getting sort of two-way conversations going on these lives. Everybody's building a camper van, or people who are watching this content are building a camper van. So what are you building it for? What's your dream trip? If you could snap your fingers, not go into work tomorrow morning, you could leave for your dream trip tomorrow, where are you going? Let me know. Love to see that in the comments. Lizzie Lander says thanks and says, is the squishy standard combi floor all right or worth sound deadening insulating underneath? They are a very, very good floor. However, they're extremely thick in terms of insulation. What I would recommend is you use a product like the Duo, the Dead Mat Duo or Dead and Duo that we sell in the bundles, because that is a thinner layer than your thick combi floor. If you were to put a 12mm floor on that, not only would you find the whole floor feels like a bit of a waterbed if you're putting a camper van interior or a rock and roll bed on top of that, but you'd find the floor incredibly thick. T5s, T6s aren't the highest of vehicles. You want to gain as much space as you can in there. So what I would recommend is a smaller or a thinner insulation. Ditch the combi mat, sell the combi mat with your combi seats and your combi brackets. You will find you get more as a complete bundle package. Here we go. We've got the first trip. What are people doing? So me and my van and my dog on my bike has said a trip to Bavaria while camping would be amazing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Where are people going? Where are you going? Where's your dream trip in a camper van? Where's your dream trip to go traveling? Last year, and those who have watched it before, last year we went out to Europe as a family in our T25 pop top called Bully, and he's on the channel as well. Last year we crossed over on the tunnel, which is the first time we've done it, and we had a great time doing that. We went down south, whereabouts in France was it, Dom? I can't quite remember. But basically we were heading down to the south of France to get into Switzerland. Switzerland was one of the main locations of our holiday. So we did a stopover in France, and then we head straight into Switzerland, did the Oberalpen Pass in Switzerland to stay in a campsite for about 3-4 nights, I think, if I remember rightly. We then went through to Austria, then to Czech Republic, then to Poland, where we stayed with my wife's family for a week or so. That was fantastic. And then we cannonballed it all the way back through Germany. It was a 2,500 mile trip in a 40-year-old van with myself, my wife, 2 kids and a 30-kilo dog. So it was quite interesting, but the van made it almost flawlessly, which was great. Lizzie Lander says thank you, and Lizzie Lander says off to the Highlands in May, so I need to get cracking with the conversion. Absolutely. Well, I hope our videos can help. Andrew Smith says we are going to Slovakia and the Czech Republic via Germany on holiday, so currently in the process of putting H&D springs and tyres, is that right? Or high up springs and tyres? Might have to make that clear for us, Andrew. Sorry about that. Mint Sauce says building ours for holidays, but hoping to persuade the wife to do the Scotland 500 next year. Yes, I've got friends of mine, they're actually doing the NC 500 this summer. I've been following him on Facebook, and he's done a wonderful job of preparing his van. He's got new tyres on it. I think he's just put Wi-Fi in there. I think he might have even put a small screen in there just so they can enjoy, if they have a bit of downtime, they can watch a bit of telly or something like that. Maybe even catch up on the Formula One, who knows? Russ 104, he's completely taken what we've said to heart here, and he's gone, I'd be off to see the Northern Lights. Yes, where would you be going right now? If you could leave in your camper van tomorrow morning instead of going to work, where would you be going in your camper van? Leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear it. Danny Sykes says, I'm just building my 2006 T5 out as a day overnight van with the hope of exploring the country a little and getting the kids' heads off their devices. Yes, a wonderful thing. I think more and more people are doing that. However, saying that, having a device is wonderful when you're on a long journey. But yeah, be quick to take it off when you get to the campsite. Get the bikes out, get down the swimming pool, whatever it might be. Andrew Smith says that should be heavy duty springs. Awesome. Yes, I've just fitted heavy duty springs to the 2KT5. Shh. If you want to check it out, go and see my stories if it's still available. Did I just let it out of the bag? Richard Sykes says one of the next upgrades on my T5 would be the standard wheels and tyres, but there's a minefield of options. What would be your choice and not too harsh a ride regarding wheels and tyres, please? Oh, if only I could tell you what we've just done. No, I will tell you because it's going to come out in a video anyway. We have just gone with new suspension and new wheels and tyres on our 2KT5 and we lifted it. We've lifted the 2KT5. Shh, don't tell anyone. And we put some really cool wheels and tyres from Rogue Alloys. I would personally go for something like a 16 or 17 inch with an all-terrain tyre, which means you're very, very capable. And they're really quiet. I can tell you right now that actually BFG KO3s, I believe they are really quite quiet on the road. And they're not too harsh. I mean, the suspension we've got is a little tough, but it is an empty van. So I think with a full camper van interior, they'll be absolutely fine. And with regards to the wheels, they're a 17 inch by 8.5 with a 245 75 17 on them. LN says T25 Westphalia touring through France all the way to Alicante, Spain to stay on a boat, leave the van there for the summer for the family to use, then drive it back home in October. I think you've won the comments right there, my man. That sounds amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Andrew Smith said, I'd go all-terrain as it's made a massive difference to my T4. Yes. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Dylan Evans says, looking to make my van a practical day van / camper, debating a 40 winks or a Vano system. Well, I can tell you from experience, both systems are very, very good. I think it's down to design, budget and taste. In terms of the 40 winks and the Avano, we have done 2 videos, I believe, on the 40 wink system. And they are excellent. And you can get them from our website too, actually. Josh says, we have a T6 Combi and planning for a 40 winks or a Vano bed system. Any recommendations for sleeping solutions for a 10-month-old? Thanks. So if you've got a Combi and you're fitting a full bed, in terms of a sleeping system for a 10-month-old, now there is a possibility that you could use I think you can get the conversion kit. We don't sell them, sadly. But you can get a conversion kit to say put your double seat to fold flat, and then you could put a travel system on that, or you could, or crib, cot. Man, it's been a while since I've had young kids like that. Or alternatively, you could get a swivel seat base, and then that would obviously spin the seat round, and you could put the sleeping system on that. Also, alternatively, have you heard of the cab bunks? We're not associated or affiliated to cab bunks at all, but they have been doing some great things for T5 and T6, even Sprinter, Crafter bed solutions to go across the A and B pillars, like the old bay window Westphalias used to do for kiddie cots. So have a look into that. Wowzers. It's really busy out there today. 47 people and 26 likes. And again, 48 people. Again, if you are enjoying the content, if you had learned anything from the questions that have been answered, please be sure to give the video a little thumbs up. Maybe even make a comment. It would be fantastic for our channel as a whole. And if you haven't already and you're new to the channel, please go ahead and give it a little like, subscribe, and maybe even the little bell. I know you hear that on all YouTube shows, but it really does help as a creator if our subscribers do the little bell, click the little bell, because it will notify you as a consumer that we have uploaded another video. Me and my van and my dog and my bike has said, sorry, another question. My 2006 T5, still in the garage after the bodywork. Is it possible to put a whole new side on my van from driver's side door pillar to the back, including wheel arch? Is it possible to put a whole new side on my van from driver's side door pillar to the... Yes, it is. We currently have a van in that has had that repair done in the past, and we didn't know, and nor did the owner, until we removed their inner panels to do the conversion. And it was done so well, and it must have been done very early in the van's life. A whole panel was put on the long side, which is driver's side, to the tailgate. The panel, I believe, is available and it can be done. I'm going to guess there's some crash damage there, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm sad to hear if that is the case. But yes, it can be done. It's a big job, but it can be done. Andrew Wadsworth says, no real question, just wanted to say that I love your videos, helped massively when I was building my first T5, used it all again on the second one too. Well done, Andrew, that's awesome, and you are very welcome for the videos. We absolutely love making them for you. Taxi driver says, I'm looking forward to the Campus and Coffee weekend on the 3rd and 4th of June. Later in the year, I may go back up to Scotland and then get the ferry over to Ireland and return via Wales and home that way. Now that sounds like a trip. Put your hands up if you fancy touring Ireland, because I would love to tour Ireland in our camper van. In fact, that might be a summer thing. Dom, we'll have to do that one summer. We'll go to Ireland. I'd love that. Absolutely. She's looking at me like that. Are you really? But yes, absolutely. I'd love to go to Ireland touring in the summer. Josh says, that's great. Thank you. You are more than welcome, Josh. Can't remember your question now, Josh. Where is it? Oh, the Avano 40 Wings. Yes. Russ104 says, does the direct power headlight conversion to the T4 make a significant improvement to the lighting? I remember seeing you do the conversion on down to T4, but I'm still procrastinating. Yes, so what that was a relay system that rather than taking the feed for the headlights from the headlight loom itself or the headlight switch itself, once you turn the headlight on, it takes the feed directly from the battery and brings 100% of the battery's power to your headlights rather than just whatever's traveling through the loom and the headlight switch and the ignition switch and everything else. They make a huge difference in terms of the output voltage of your bulbs. When you partner them up with something like an Osram night breaker, they're very, very effective, absolutely. I know, Silver Fox Builds has just turned up. He says, wow, what a turnout tonight, Leigh. Just turned up and there's loads of people watching. Been busy van building again. Yes, Silver Fox Builds is building a fantastic van. Where is this? Sorry, I'm scrolling through as we're watching this at the same time. Danny Sykes says, are adhesives such as Speed Bond Master Seal adequate enough for fitting tailgate spoilers? Good question. I don't know what Speed Bond Master Seal is, nor have I ever used it. I like to use something like a Sikaflex or a Tiger Seal. You can get different types of Sikaflex. You can get 212, 221, all sorts of things, or you can just get black Sikaflex or white Sikaflex straight out of the bottle. However, don't take my advice on bonds for, I nearly said bondage. Don't take my advice on bonds in terms of bodywork for granted. If you have questions regarding the bond, because there are a million out there, have a chat with your local body shop potentially, or if you know a friend who's in a body shop. A Sika 212 would be more than adequate, but yes, double check with your local body shop to see what they would recommend. Darren Fowler is in. Good evening, Darren. He says, we are starting to look now to buy first T5 or T6 camper. We do tow a single axle caravan. What van/model would you recommend we look for to tow with? Well, that would be a question of axle weight. Now, the T5, T6 platform did come in more than one wheelbase and it came in more than one axle weight. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe they did a T28, a T30 and a T32 in terms of axle weight. So they're the first things I'd look for, is axle weight, engine size, and gearbox, depending on what gearbox you'd like. Sorry, my mind went blank for a second. So depending if you like a 5 or 6 speed or even the cellar speed, an old Alfa Romeo term again, the sequential gearbox on the T5, T6, there are lots of different options. Have a look. Again, my towing and caravanning life is very, very limited, to say the least. I would have a look at potentially a caravanning type forum to see what people have chosen for a T5, T6 platform. The 2K T5, for example, it's an early T5 with a 5-speed gearbox. It's a 104 engine, but it's a 30 axle weight, and it's got a huge tow bar on the back. So, and bearing in mind its history in construction and demolition, I would assume that that was towing quite a lot. But the T5s, as they are straight out of the box, are a very, very good towing platform, especially with a small caravan. Russ104 says, I did adjust my sliding door and change the slider tailgate seals. It didn't stop the sliding door squeaking, but it made a big difference to the road noise in the van. Nice one. Yes, that's one thing we have to do to the 2KT5 that's coming up in a future video. The bottom roller has gone. It's absolutely demolished. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because it's absolutely knackered. But we are getting some new parts. They're coming in now. They're back in stock. And we're going to do the bottom roller, middle roller, and top roller. And we'll be showing you all how to do it, as well as fitting new rubbers. So well reminded there, Russ104. Taxi driver, how about a CVC meetup in Ireland like Campers and Coffee? I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Richard Sykes says, what's your opinion on T5 facelifts? I like the look of the newer models, but would it be better to keep original? Now, Richard, that is a conversation I'm having in my mind at the moment, because we've just done some work on our 2K T5. And I absolutely love it with the early face. However, there is plans to put a T5.1, maybe a T6 facelift on it as well. I think that that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I believe it's fantastic that we've got the option. You know, the T5 T6 is now a 20-year-old platform, and Simon Massey said, resist the lift. It's a fantastic platform with lots of different variations, and that goes to front end styling, rear end styling, mirrors, door handles, all sorts of things, interiors, cabs, dashes, seats, all sorts of things are able to be improved. It doesn't necessarily affect the value, but I believe a T5.1 and onwards is a more appealing face for consumers. Say if you were to sell it in a year's time, 2 years' time, I believe a facelifted front end for a T5, T6 would be more appealing to the masses in terms of sale. However, the dieharders amongst us may well love the early T5 face, and I get it. It's the OG, it looks pretty good. Now we've had some work done on the 2K T5. I really like the early front, so who knows, we'll see how we go with that one. Simon Massey said they did a T26 for the T5 as well. That's what I've got, although a T26 seems rare. I've towed a trailer with 2 motorbikes with no snags. Simon, thank you very much for your input. That is very, very valuable. And hopefully, who asked the question? Darren Fowler. Hopefully Darren Fowler is still in and watching, and he can see what you've said. Motivate is in. He says, hey, good evening, sir. How are you? Simon Massey says, resist the lift. Pre-facelift is for winners. Motivate says, sorry, a bit late to the show, was reading to my daughter. Do not apologise for spending time with your kiddies, that's for sure. Russ24 says, I like an original T5. Yes, do you know what? I'm really starting to like it. Now, obviously, with any type of car, van, vehicle, people prefer the earlier models. And like I said, now the T5 is nearing 20 years, or the earliest T5s are actually 20 years old. I guess they're not classics, but they're kind of retro-ish. And people are saying it's going to be a shame to spoil the looks of the original car. So who knows? I might stick with the early pre-facelift, but I don't know. We're working with people to potentially do a facelift. Who knows? What do you reckon? Leave it down in the comments. Pre-facelift. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right, so 46 of you still in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's wonderful to have you here. Have you got any further questions? Earlier, we asked the question, actually, if you were able to go travelling in your camper van tomorrow anywhere, where would you go? We've got 44 of you watching right now. If you want to make a comment, that'd be awesome. Adrian Johnson says, talking of rubbers, can you get an aftermarket sliding door seal? The L-shaped seals, genuine, are £200. Yes, you can. Heritage do one. And for you guys and you guys only, if you quote Coombe Valley 10, you get 10% off your basket. Quote Coombe Valley 10 at Heritage Parts Centre and you can get 10% off your basket. Now, terms and conditions apply. They don't do you 10% on things like engines and chassis and stuff like that. But yes, for smaller items such as that, put Coombe Valley 10 in the box when you get asked for codes and vouchers and things like that. Put Coombe Valley 10, and then you will get 10% off your basket. You can have that one for free. Now, that is a code that is set up. We've not actually made it public yet on the YouTube channel. So those watching the live, you get that one for free. Right, I need a glass of water or somewhere. Do we have a glass of water? No. Man, it's making me parched.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, would you mind? Would that be all right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I love my wife. But this young man is being absolutely next to no use. Shall I show you him? Where is he? Oh, he's decided to wake up. There he is. Hey, bud. You say hello? Nope. Not really that interested. He was actually snoring a minute ago. There we go. Super. Yes, as you can see, we are in my bedroom today. There's lots of stuff going on in the household today. So we're in the bedroom where it's nice and quiet. It's a little bit too warm. Right. Me and my van and my dog and my bike. He has made a comment. He says, can you fit permanent Wi-Fi in a van? Or is it just mobile internet that you get, that you connect? Oh, hang on. Let's see your comment. Me and my van and my dog and my bike. Can you fit permanent Wi-Fi in a van, or is it just mobile internet? You connect your devices from EE 302, etc. I'd love to take my PS5 in my van. Yes, it is possible. It's something we are looking into quite heavily for the 2KT5, so we can show people that option as well. You can get Wi-Fi points that you pop a SIM card in. You can get Wi-Fi boosting aerials and things like that as well. My knowledge on the subject is not huge. I will let you know that now, but it is something we're looking into because we'd like to throw as many features as we can at the 2KT5 so we can do more content for you guys and show how it's done. What we have just done in a camper van actually is put Freeview in a van, which is awesome. We used a Xtron 17-inch fold-down TV, and as a £60 extra, you can get an Xtron Freeview box. It's about this big. It can wire into an external antenna, or it comes with a very, very good antenna, and it comes with a remote infrared sensor for your TV remote. So you don't have to have it on display. You can hide the actual TV box in a cabinet, and then all you need to have on display, it's about the size of a 10p, a domed 10p shape, like the size of a bit of chewing gum, I guess. And that just pokes out of whatever trim you need to, where you need to point your remote at. And it's a very, very effective piece of kit. And we had 700 plus channels on Freeview in this van. So yes, it was excellent. Motivate says, I would go to Greece. We have flats there we put up on Airbnb. It would be nice to have time out from life sometimes. Yeah, I would agree 100%. Right, trying to find my comments again. There we are. Martin Griffin says, do you still have Bob the Docker project? Sadly, we don't. I apologise outright for the lack of content on Bob the Docker. Last year, whilst we were building Bob, we had a lot going on. We had the new workshop, we had a change around of staff, we had all sorts of things going on. And at one point, thank you very much. At one point, we just needed to get him up and running and usable, because we actually had a requirement to use the vehicle for things like swap meets and trade shows. Because when we got the new workshop, we cleared it all out. I had a ton of spares that I didn't need. So we got Bob the Docker on the road, got all the kinks worked out of him, put a trailer on the back, took all of our parts to the swap meet down in Kent, and we sold about 70 quid's worth of parts. However, whilst I was there, I had my yellow ink pen and just put for sale on the side of Bob on his window, and within an hour he had sold. I actually really enjoy having the Docker. However, practical it was, I didn't really enjoy driving it that much. I had it on big tyres, old BFG style tyres, big canopy on the back, and it was a 1.9 petrol DG. And it was really, really thirsty and noisy and not that comfortable. So he moved on to Pastures New, which the people who bought him absolutely love him. But yes, there will be no more content on Bob the Docker, I'm afraid, but we have some very exciting new projects moving forward. LN. He says, T25 Westphalia, I have the original heater, petrol. It doesn't work. Any ideas for replacement? As I thought about one of the diesel heaters, but that means a small diesel tank to supply it. You can get petrol heaters also, but they are hella money. They are so expensive at the petrol heaters. It'd be worth seeing if you can have that petrol heater serviced. Sorry, that's not a facility we can provide. But yes, for the sake of a small diesel tank, you might have to relocate in your van. A diesel heater is a very, very good option. From our web shop, we sell and endorse the Autoterm planar heaters, and they are blooming brilliant. Taxi driver says, is Heritage Parts just for VWs? I need some nice seats for my Mark 5 Transit drivers and front passengers. Generally, yes, Heritage Parts for VW, Porsche, VAG. Mintzor says, we have just cut and fitted our side window, but one side seems to have a pinhole in the top, letting in a small drip of water. Any products to help seal it? Not much space between the glass and the panel. Now, that's a shame, and it does happen, so I sympathise. You could very gently put some more of the window sealant in that gap. However, there is another product called, and don't laugh at this, and my apologies if I get the name wrong, I believe it's called Captain Tolly's Creeping Crack Cure. I know, right? It's meant for the marine industry, and it's a liquid that you drip into a window seal, and it's meant to find any perforations, cracks, seals that aren't watertight, fill them, and then if you keep applying it, it tops that up and then completely seals that window. So give that a go. I'm sure it's Captain Tolly's Creeping Crack Cure. The worst name in the world, however, it is very effective. We actually used it on Dan's T4 because he had a leaky windscreen. This is before he replaced the windscreen, but yes. Martin Griffin says, Shane was waiting on more videos, a great project. Do you know what? It really was fun. However, it was just so much work to get that thing on the road. Bit of a backstory on Bob the Docker. Funnily enough, when I took it to Kent to sell, somebody came up and went, was this vehicle on a farm? I was like, well, from what I heard, it was from a brewery. He says, I used to be the postie at that location, and it was always my aim to go to them to ask if it was for sale. Turns out when I went to go and ask if it was for sale, they'd sold it the week before to the person I had bought it from. And yeah, so basically Bob the Docker had lived on a farm for 4 years, completely untaxed, MOT'd, and all he was meant to do was take brewery equipment from one warehouse to another. So quite a cool thing, but he was absolutely beaten up. He'd never been serviced properly. There was bits missing of the vehicle. He was just made to run and drive that short distance to and from. So when we got him, he hadn't been MOT'd for nearly 15 years. We had to do fuel lines, engine stuff. Honestly, there's so much work to get him to a reliable daily vehicle. We had to do lots and lots and lots of work, and it was just no time to film it in the end. So my apologies on that. Bear Cheap Thrills Adventures, good evening. He says, if you go into mobile hotspot and tethering on your phone, you can connect it to your device. Nice work. Thank you very much. I've been given a glass of water and a cup of tea. I'm the luckiest man alive. Stu Eggy 1 says, hi, just started watching Coombe Valley. I had to have a binge watch to catch up. Keep the videos coming. Well, thank you very much for joining us, my man. It's very, very good to have you, and thank you very much for watching the content. Man in the Van says, what's your thoughts on spraying textured bumpers? Worth the effort or better to replace with paintable bumpers? I guess it's down to your situation, your own personal situation, really. If you have textured bumpers that you want to paint and they're in good condition or they're nearly new, may not be that much effort to actually get it done. However, replacement bumpers, again, for things like T5s, T6s, they're readily available. And you would pay a painter or a body shop just as much to prep a textured bumper ready to paint as you would on a brand new bumper that is primered, ready to go. Mintzor says, thank you. I will give that a go. You are more than welcome. Cal S, he says, can you tell me when the production of the T6.1 will end? I'm afraid I can't exactly tell you when the production will end. We had the discussion last week, and I believe it's sometime in the next 2 weeks that is the last T6.1 you can order. If you remember that conversation you were watching last week, please leave it down in the comments below. I believe the last T6.1, the last you can order, or your cut-off date for ordering a T6.1 is in the next couple of weeks, I believe. It's certainly not far away, that's for sure. Danny Sykes has been looking at the Extron TVs myself. Are they any good? How's best to secure to a T5 roof? Do you know what? This Extron TV that we've got that we've fitted to a customer's vehicle is actually really, really good. If you were to plug in the Extron's Freeview box, it literally takes over the controls. But be aware, the Extron TV has no speakers and it has no tuner. It is literally just a screen. A very good screen, but it is literally just a screen. So to wire it up, you have to obviously you need a 12-volt feed. The lights within it will get triggered by your doors opening and closed if you want to, but you have to wire it into an amp so you can get sound out of the thing. And you have, if you want TV, you have to get a tuner as well. So what I would recommend is if you go for the Extron's TV, go and buy the actual bolt-on as well, which is the Extron's Freeview box, because that is very, very, it cuts out a lot of the crap. It's a 12-volt feed, so it's easy to tune in, and it has an out for your audio as well. So you literally use the red, yellow and white leads, the RF leads I think they're called. They connect into the Extron's TV. Then they have an audio out, which will go to an amplifier, which will then go to your speakers. Yeah, it's a good TV, but it takes a bit of work to get right. Sorry if that was boring. I think that came across as quite boring, but yeah, it's good to give you that information because it's not just a TV with speakers and you can just put a DVD in it. It is just a screen. They're designed really for buses and coaches and things. Bear Cheap Thrills Adventures says, I have used that on my boat windows and it works. Good stuff. Thank you very much for the feedback, or the intel. Cal S, also, how much would a respray cost for a transporter, external only? I cannot quote that, but the decider is A, if you want a complete colour rechange, and B, depends on how good or bad the bodywork is. Best go and get more than one quote from a decent renowned body shop, or at least a recommended body shop paint room. Yeah, it's very hard to quote that sort of thing without looking at the vehicle, knowing if you want a colour change, if you want it metallic or whatever. So yes, go and get some quotes, but I wouldn't be able to give you a rough cost or anything like that. Man in the Van says, thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. That's not a problem. It's what I really enjoy doing. It's one of the best parts of my job. Danny Sykes says, great, thanks Leigh, you're more than welcome. Russ104 says, when I was having my T4 repaired, the body bloke asked me if I wanted bumpers painting. Do what? They're for bumping things. Yeah, that's about right. That is about right. It's very nice to have painted bumpers and things like that. However, whatever style we go for, or whatever front end we go for, the 2K T5, we are definitely going to keep black bumpers. Cal S says, any love for olive drab? Nardo grey is the shizzle. Absolutely. So olive drab, I don't think I'm ever going to paint a vehicle olive drab. I drove enough olive drab vehicles in the army, so I don't want to drive any more green cars. Thank you very much. Nardo grey is a shizzle. However, it is a little 2015 if you ask me. What is the next question, please? Be sure to get me in as well. We have 6 minutes remaining. 6 minutes remaining. This has been a huge one again. There has been so many people watching, and thank you very much for tuning in. I really, really enjoy these one-on-ones, these conversations, this toing and froing. It's really, really good fun. 6 more minutes left. If you have watched the video, if you have learned something from this, if you do enjoy what we do here, please be sure to give this video a nice little thumbs up. It really helps me as a creator. It really helps the channel. I absolutely love it. Ugh, use the word creator, isn't that sick? Anyway, Motivate says, I'm just about to take the plunge and splash out on electrical gear. The van will also be used as a charging station for racing freestyle drones. Now that sounds sick. That is something I'd love to do. MGB311, ever had any experience with the Smoky T5? Nope, sorry. I am not a mechanic. I've never said I'm a mechanic. I'm not a qualified mechanic, which is why I don't often give mechanical advice. However, I would go and check it with somebody who is a mechanic. Don't just hit the forum straight away, because like me, they might not pretend. Like me, the person who is on the other end of that may not be a qualified mechanic. So get a good mechanic, maybe plug it in. If not, get a good assessment from maybe even a diesel expert. Commercial mechanics are very, very good because they just deal with diesel all day. Motivate says, any advice on what's the best power station setup? Are we talking about the battery boxes? You missed it. We spoke about those earlier. I know they can be used in camper vans. I know they're very good in camper vans. I know that you can charge them on a split charge, and I know that you can charge them on a solar. I don't have any experience on them at all, sadly. I've seen them in, but I've not been lucky enough yet to have one, own one. I certainly don't have the budget for one, but as soon as I do get one of these battery packs or one of these power packs, then I will do a video on it and let you all know. Simon Massey, oh, hang on, Silver Fox Builds. He says, what is your thickness preference of ply for internal walls? I need a piece of ply to curve in 2 directions. Not a lot. I'm thinking 5.5, then it'll be fabric trimmed. 3.6, go to 3.6 millimeter, my man. Simon Massey says, surely you'll be using Raptor paint on your 2K T5 bumpers. Do you know what? I think I might. Gary Plumley says, at Taxi Driver, I have a Dead Mark 6 with good original seats if you want them. There you go, Mad Mossy. Have a chat with Gary Plumley. He has some seats for you. Cal S. Check out Love Letter to Ply by Tom Sachs. Mega content. I will, you know. Tom Sachs. I'll have a look at that. Jonathan Easy says, hey, about to get pre-facelift Indian Blue T5. What style 18 alloys shall I put on it? Oh, man. Depends on your taste. 18-inch alloys can come in all different variations. Land Rover / Range Rover are very popular, but you need to get the right bolts, fixings, and spigot rings. I do know of a set for sale. So if you are interested in a set of 18-inch, are they 19s, 18s? They could be either, but they've literally just come off a T5. We have them in our workshop. If you are interested, please email us, Combe Valley Campers, info@combevalleycampers.co.uk. Bear Cheap Thrills Adventures says, are you going to keep the black bumpers on the 2K5 van or the 2K van or spray them? I prefer black bumpers for the swamper looks. Yes, we're going to keep black bumpers for sure. Oh, there you are, Taxi Drivers back on. Is fitting a full wrap brown nudge bar on the front of a Mark V Transit, is this legal? I don't know. I've always, do you know what? I've bought 2 sets of bull bars in my life. One for a T25 and one for a T4, and I've never fitted them purely because it's a bit of a grey area. And in the back of my mind, I think to myself, if I was to ever have an accident, or if there was a situation where someone jumped out in front of you and you did create more harm than you would have done without having a set of bull bars, I don't think I could ever live with myself. Cal S, favourite non-OEM seat covers? Good question. Non-OEM seat covers. I don't know. Do you know what I have bought for the 2K T5? Just as a little interim, is some grey camo ones. The cheapest ones I could find on Amazon, they're going straight in there. Mainly because I have a very big dog that sits on my front seat with me. Cal S, Subaru Terzo Blue Gold Combo is nice. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Do you know what I did see on Instagram earlier? Somebody had a hot pink T5 with bright white wheels. I really liked it. I thought it looked really, really cool. My wife, on the other hand, not a big fan. Jonathan Easy says, I will email you. Awesome. Thank you very much. Right. That is it, my guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. We have 45 seconds left. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. It is awesome to join you every Sunday for an hour. We do this every Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. It's lovely to see our regulars coming back. It's lovely to see you all. And thank you so much just for contributing, everybody, and asking questions and things like that. So one last request before I go today. If you could maybe hit the thumbs up on this video, that'd be really cool, really helps us as a channel. And if you haven't already yet, please subscribe. Sorry, I'm kind of reading comments as I'm trying to say goodbye at the same time. Everyone's saying good chat, thank you, blah blah blah. Yes, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Maybe hit the notification to say you ring the bell so you can get notifications and things like that. Right, once again, thank you so much. If you haven't watched it all yet, please catch the latest 2KT5 video that went up at 6 PM tonight. It's all about sound deadening your cab floor. Until next week, thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.